Hey everyone, this is Alp Actinez here, Managing Director of Architecture and Platforms here at FP Automation. Welcome back to our series on healthcare provider reporting and unified analytics within Microsoft Fabric. In this video, we will be talking all about utilization reporting and trending and what this means to you as a healthcare provider professional and your business and how you can spot trends, gaps, and opportunities within your business. What we're going to be talking about here today is utilization reporting. This is something that we are typically building with our healthcare providers operating on ERP systems like AdvancedMD. What this provides to them is a utilization holistic analysis as to how their business is trending, how facilities are performing, and then of course how different provider types are performing as well, such as psychiatrists, psychologists, and therapists. The idea behind this view right here is this is an executive view showing how the company is doing from an actual hours standpoint in terms of completion appointments versus what their budgeted hours capacity is and utilization, and of course which areas from a provider perspective are down and which areas from a provider perspective are up. This allows you to focus on the areas and understand if this is a demand or a potential gap due to cancellations and no-shows. We can see right here, for example, that the provider types for doctors are not performing from a utilization perspective correctly. Now, what this allows you to do is to peer in to understand exactly where the issue is coming from and how you can resolve this issue to unlock revenue for your organization. So if we hop on over to the utilization capacity trends report, we can see right here that we have a utilization capacity trends showcasing our actual appointments, how many were canceled, how many were no-shows in the month, and then of course how many were completed and what our budgeted appointment capacity is. We can also show right here the actual hours completed and budgeted hours capacity and then utilization. Now what this can ultimately tell us is there capacity for certain providers, and do we have a cancellation problem, or is this a demand problem and this is something that we need to go and put marketing efforts behind in order to fill gaps where we have demand issues so that providers are working as expected. So if we look at doctors, for example, we can look at our various different doctors here and see exactly how things are trending. So for example, we can see right here that for this particular doctor, we have the actual appointments. In this case, the appointments canceled, the appointments no-shows, and then of course the appointments completed. And what we can see right here is that the capacity gap is 64%, meaning that we have 64% of our capacity in place on average. However, we have an issue where we don't have as many actual appointments coming in the door, enabling us to go work with the right teams to fill that gap. This allows you to spot where the issues are so that you can make the right decisions around if you have an appointment gap, focusing marketing and sales efforts to bring in additional patients to provide great service and fill in provider appointment timings, or if there's potentially cancellation and no-show gap, understanding why there are cancellations and no-shows happening and putting action items in place in order to prevent these or overbooking. And last but not least, from an hours completion standpoint, what type of appointments are being completed? Is there a potential appointment issue? Are there gaps in scheduling for various different providers? All of these small decisions lead to big outcomes in terms of revenue opportunities. We were able to help an organization go from an 80% utilization rate into a 94% utilization rate, translating to a six-figure multiple in terms of revenue opportunity for their business, just from them being able to see this data here. That's how powerful this information can be to your organization. Once you have a grasp around utilization reporting, where you're able to take your actuals data coming from your ERP system and compare it to a budgeting report by provider, by week, to understand where exactly your providers are performing and not performing, and what are the causalities behind these particular issues that may be faced within your data. So I hope you enjoyed this series here. In our next series video, we'll be talking all about caseloads and how you can take advantage of your existing patient data to ensure that you are keeping revenue humming and providing great patient care for your patients. Thank you, and this is Alp signing out.